What's up, guys? PJ Trekking. Dude, you guys know, if you guys have been following along, you guys seen how much work we've been putting on the Duramax kits. Dude, behind me, I have the first ever 2500, 3500 Chevy 20-inch lift kit. Alright, so obviously behind me you guys see humongous, not a straight axle like this truck over here. That is full independent front suspension, and dude, we got a lot to go over. Alright, so basically there's a lot of components on this lift kit, so today's video is just going to be us walking through the whole entire lift. You guys rarely see these on my channel, and now you're going to see a lot more, so I just want to get you guys familiar with it, and then bro, run you through the kit. Oh yeah, maybe you guys know. If you don't know, this is Manny. There's a couple things we added since you guys last saw this at SEMA. Usually characters intro themselves like, what's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
All right, man, what are we looking at?
So we're looking at the Duramax kit. Obviously the kit is designed at around 18 inches. You can pick whether you're going to be at 16 or at 20. That's kind of like the travel range that we're trying to stay within, for everything to still geometrically work the best. Basic kit, basic things that it's going to include, so you're aware. Obviously both of your drop cross members, extended knuckle up front, upper control arm. This is actually getting replaced with a billet piece that we're now going to start machining pretty soon. We're just finalizing the design. We need to make sure that all of the caster and camber adjustment was on the money with this same shape. Front sway bar with your billet clamps, bridge that goes between cross members, and this new steering gear section, which obviously allows for zero pitman arm and idler arm like stress forward or backwards because of the 44s and the new relocated high point on the knuckle. Front kicker bars, center cradle, layovers on everything. Layovers on the front, layovers on the kicker bars, the inside of the kicker bars, layovers on the cradle, on the inside of the cradle, and the bottom of the cradle. Your 4-link, and then we'll work our way out back. You're gonna have a rear bracketry, which is what we call. It's basically just a bracket that bolts onto the factory leaf spring pushes or to the factory holes where the leaf spring stoppers were not purchased. Drill 2 other holes. This obviously holds now your coilover mount and your rear 4-link track bar mount. And then the rear truss. Rear truss is fully bolt-on. Rear truss does have cutting. Rear truss is bolt-on. Rear truss is zero welding, only cutting. Obviously you're going to retain the purchase where the leaf pack sat. That's what's going to give us our squareness and where we're going to sit and fixate the truss with the pins, the same like style dowel pins that you would have on a leaf spring. And then we bolt through and under with 4 5/8 bolts on each side. Only thing you're doing, like I repeat, is just cutting. This is going to convert your leaf spring rear axle to a 4-link rear axle. Obviously you can see the rear bracketry here and how it holds the track bar. And that's it, man.
Alright, so how high can you lift this lift kit to?
In theory, this is what we would recommend to be the best drivable ride height. If you wanted to crank these coilovers up another inch or 2, we would still be within spec on all of the geometry, and still what we call spec is going to be just basically the guidelines. Nice chicken. The guidelines of what the factory alignment machine would give you for the factory standard. If we were to go another 2 inches, we could still align the vehicle to stay within that range. So that's what we're calling the spec, right? Granted, if we need to come down another 2 inches, because some people might think this is obnoxiously big, once again, we could do that as well. And we're also working on having a smaller version of this kit to we're going to design at 12 inches, obviously, same concept, but it'll work for a 10 and it'll work for a 14. So I think that'll give people, you know, obviously it's a smaller version of this with a smaller cradle, but kind of the same gist. But you know, we figured with this we can kind of show what the higher end of the scale would be, and then we'd work backwards.
Let's show the new steering center link upgrade.
So the new steering center link upgrade is basically nothing more than a steering center link drop. In essence, we got this point to what we deem to be the safest, highest point that we could still steer at, and you could still have whatever wide tires you're gonna have, regardless of having spacers or not. We didn't feel that we needed to force somebody to, you know, have to run spacers, you know, or have to run a certain offset. Whatever wheel and tire size you decide to do with this knuckle, it would still technically work. So with that, to make sure that we had the right geometry and we can keep this tie rod and that lower control arm still perfectly parallel amongst all axial travels, we needed to make that drop. Obviously, making a drop now creates a lot of stress. If you want to come in here, you'll see where the original mounting point for the center link would be. right? If we were to come down these 5 inches that we're coming down, we would create a lot of stress and a lot of leverage in this direction, which would want to rip the pitman arm or the idler arm ball joint in this direction. So by adding this other bracket with 2 mini links, which is what we're calling it, this provides 0 stress now to this. So technically, that pitman arm and that idler arm are now working less than they would have in a factory setting, because any shear that existed no longer exists. Here, if you notice in the truss, let me get down in here again, you're gonna have these other 2 points, right? These other 2 points are supposed to be for a sway bar. We like to add sway bars to all of the kits that we make that are like over 16 inches or 18 inches. Once there's this much weight over the axle, always like on these really, really big kits to add a sway bar. We're working on that right now, so that's why you don't see it installed, but obviously it's going to share the same kind of sway bar design that we use for just about everything. With our billet clamps, we're going to look to mount maybe to the factory hitch locations and then come from the factory hitch locations with our arm in here. Obviously, this customer chose to get triple bypasses from Carbon. Shout out to Carbon, by the way. Phenomenal products. Beautiful ride quality, like insane ride quality. You'll see later. But we need to make like a creative link that would still look attractive and, you know, bolt to here to be able to use that rear sway bar. On the smaller versions of these, we are not going to need a sway bar. We've already driven this truck and we feel confident as it is without a sway bar. So we only feel that a sway bar is only going to further improve something that's already beyond belief, but we really don't justify this on a smaller setup because, I mean, it's almost useless. In our eyes, it's almost useless in this application, so.
That's a wrap on the Duramax kit. It's gonna have a lot more options in the future. For example, we're also adding triple overlays. Don't even know, these are 30s and 44s. We're way above, show me real quick. We're way above the tire on that. Obviously, these are aftermarket bumpers. So maybe with factory bumpers, we'd still be way above. You would never have to worry about rubbing. Guys, so we're hopping in now, and basically we wanna show you guys how it really rides on the highway. You guys can see how it really takes on some traffic.
Right, so as you can see, normally on a truck with 30s and 44s, you might be a little bit intimidated to be passing oncoming traffic, or, you know, I don't know what the term would be, just traffic in general, but truck could be driven just like you would drive anything else, I guess, at this point. So that's kind of what we aim for with these independent front suspensions. That's why we really wanted to dial in that spring rate, you know, just so you have that confidence to be able to switch through lanes and swerve and have conversations, or, like, you know, text and drive. Not trying to promote anything illegal here, but you get the gist of it. The regular things that a regular person would be doing while
we're doing this all like 75 miles an hour
while you're driving a big truck. You know what I mean? Everybody thinks that you have a big truck. That means now it's a big task to drive this truck to get from point A to point B. How nice is it to drive a big truck and just be passing everybody on the highway while you have conversations with your friends, or you're going to dinner, or doing anything else that you would normally do in a big truck?
So, like you said, we're literally on 30s and 44s. Bro, this thing is riding like a cloud. It's riding like a cloud. We're going 80 right now. Like I said, the purpose of today's video was just so you guys can run down really all the components of the lift kits. We have a lot of things coming for the Duramax kit in the future, like box lower control arms. And right now, actually, if you order a Duramax kit, you'll be the first ones to be able to have triple overlays. Well, you'll be able to have your regular overlay, and then now you'll be able to add a stainless overlay to this, which will give you an option to have, you know, probably in this situation would have been pink with a milled edge, and then stainless, right? Or two-tone and stainless. Kind of cool third option that we're offering. In the kit, you will be receiving a front drive shaft. Basically, everything you'll see in this kit, you're only responsible for the coilovers and the rear drive shaft. But we work really close with Carbon shocks and coilovers, so you'll actually be able to use, you know, you'll be able to go through us to match your coilovers and shocks with Carbon. I think they're phenomenal coilovers and shocks, and they look absolutely sick, and they have multiple options for you. This kit's absolutely insane. I secretly love it more than the Ford kits. Bro, literally this is a 24 Duramax, and it's sitting 20 inches in the air, and it doesn't have a straight axle swap, which is obviously the biggest thing that everybody's been talking about these kits. So a lot of things coming for it. If you're interested, it's not on the website yet. It will be on the website very soon. If you're interested in getting a kit before it goes on the website, all you have to do is message us on Instagram at Papi's Garage, or email me, PJ at Papi's Garage, or go on the website and fill out the contact info and let us know what you're looking for, papisgarage.com. There's tons of options, tons of ways you could go with this. And dude, super excited to see how many of you guys Like, bro, I personally can't wait to see someone get super creative with the colors. Like, you could do all the steering and the coilover springs, chrome. Like, you could do crazy stuff with this. So I'm genuinely excited to see how creative you guys get with it. Appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting. Oh, Peter Truck.